Oh, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits. Here we are in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world again. Now, the title of my talk today is The Apple War. The Apple War. The 80s, many people don't remember the 80s now. We're getting so far from it that most of you probably born in the 80s. But I remember the 80s and the Apple War. Now, what I remember, remember Steve Jobs? And remember the logo of the apple with a bite out of it? Bite that apple. Bite the apple. So I've been watching Killing Eve for the second time, and that's all about the apple, because Eve was the one that bit the apple. So, but let's go back to the 1980s and the Apple War, which is a war between the Macintosh came out in 1984 because the Super Bowl ad, and I believe it was 1984, initiated the Apple, or a return to the garden. Let's put it that way, where you were offered a choice to bite the apple again, but this time you wouldn't get kicked out of the garden. In other words, the problem with not the problem, but in the Garden of Eden, if you bite that apple and take the risk of being free, you're going to lose your security and you're going to get kicked out. In other words, there are two categorical imperatives that must be obeyed, that's in our nature, that cannot be denied. And those two imperatives, or commandments, is that you must be free and you must have security. You must have freedom, but you must have a home. You can't have freedom without a home. You can't climb Mount Everest without a base camp. So you climb to the top of the mountain, but you do it from a base camp. In other words, home is security, symbolized by the mother, and adventure, or freedom, or risk, is symbolized by the mistress, or the seductress. So all ads are about this apple. So we sell products with breasts. So you got the allure of freedom. Oh, I want to go there. All right? But at the same time, you're going to lose your security. So how can you have both? How can you have the mistress, or for women, the bad boy, and the good husband? How can you have the mistress and the mother? How can you have freedom, which is risk, you see, which means leaving security. In other words, if you want freedom, you got to leave the yard. You got to leave the container. You got to leave your hometown. How many movies are that? American Graffiti. In order to grow up, you have to leave the hometown. The world calls you. Freedom calls you. Adventure calls you. The call to transcend. That's our nature, our human nature. The call to transcend. But at the same time, there's the call of the mother, the call of home, the call of security, the call of being at the mother's breast. So you got these two calls. Freedom, security, but they're incompatible. They go like this. You can't leave home and be home at the same time. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to buy a Mac or some other product. So the commercial, well, let's use Steve Jobs as an example. So Steve Jobs creates a Mac and he wraps it in the metaphor of the apple And the allure of the apple, bite the apple. The snake says, go ahead, bite it. Take the drug. Go ahead, bite it. Do this, do that. Oh, you'll feel alive. Oh, stay home. Be good, stay home. So how do you bite the apple and stay home at the same time? Well, get a Mac. So the Mac was presented as and it's so clever, Steve Jobs. The Mac was presented as a way to be adventurous and be secure both at the same time. You get to eat your cake, your freedom, but you get to keep your cake. In other words, you've always got cake, but you get to eat it too. This is contradictory. This is a amalgam of opposites. So the product contains the ambiguity or the incompatible conjunction of freedom and security. Freedom and security are welded or embedded in a product through a commercial, through advertising, so that if you buy the product, you will solve the dilemma of wanting to be free and secure at the same time. You'll feel free if you buy a Mac, and you'll feel secure. You'll feel free and you'll feel secure. These are incompatible feelings, you see, because you can't leave home and be home at the same time. So we have to come up with a way to do both at the same time. And commercialism, which is our economy, which is our world we live in a commercial world where everything is the promise of freedom and home at the same time. But they don't last, so we move on. But let's go back to the Apple War. So the Apple War created, I remember the Apple War because it was a war between Apple, the Mac, and PC, or Microsoft. That war's still going on. Bill Gates is still Big Brother. But the PC, the IBM, the machine, the system, the mother computer, with security, but you didn't feel free. So the Mac said, bite the apple. Bite the apple. Be different. Be innovative. Be creative. Take the risk. This is the American way. Be an explorer. Buy a Mac. So how does the Mac give you both freedom from IBM, from Bill Gates, and security? Well, Apple says, we'll take care of you. You'll be secure in the Apple system. This will be your family. You'll have a new family, the Apple family, and it'll take care of you by interconnecting, by networking and all that. So there's a literal level to this, but there's a mythological level. So I'm trying to point at the mythological level, not the literal level. So if you reply to me on, you can reply on either level. Or you literally talk about Macs, or you talk about the mythology of it, the magic of it. The magic, where you can both bite the apple and be in the garden at the same time. That's the mythological key. You see, Eve and Adam bit the apple and got kicked out. They lost security. They went for freedom but lost security. God kicked them out. Fuck you. So now that puts us on the quest. You see, how do you have that freedom and security at the same? So we keep creating new ways of being free and secure at the same time. Trumpism, what is that? Freedom from Big Brother, freedom from the deep state, freedom from liberalism, freedom from the government. Be free, but be secure with Trump, because we are your people. Now you have your own family. You have freedom by being obedient to Trumpism, You have security by being obedient to Trumpism, but you have freedom by being rebelling against liberalism, against the government, against science. It's the same war. Mythology doesn't change, it just changes content, it just changes form in history. The same formula. This is the bait and switch of advertising. You put up some boobs and you can sell anything. The boobs, adventure. Ooh, blah, 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 blah. I want to do that. But at the same time, the boob is security, the nursing home. The boobs are the nursing home for both male and, we all come from boobs. We all have boobs. We all have that primal memory. The boobs are a nursing home. But at the same time, we want to have freedom from the home. So they come up with a product, you see. Where's a product? Take this as a product, So I want to sell martinis, right? It's a product. How do I sell martinis? You see, there's two monkeys on here. There's freedom and there's security, right? Drink a martini and you'll be free. You'll be naughty. You'll be avant-garde. You'll be risky. You'll be exciting. You'll be in the adventure. Take it, have a sip, you see. It offers freedom. So I don't know what the security is, but anyway, the idea is that products are sold by containing the pairs of opposites. So my uncle for him, collecting martini glasses was his metaphorical way of being. I think for him it was like the martini was sophistication. You drink the martini, you're James Bond. James Bond is free. How can you be James Bond while you drink martinis? So, you see, that right there. See, James Bond is the ultimate freedom. Freedom from the law. And he drinks martinis. So if I want to be like James Bond, I'm going to be addicted to martinis. And I feel like James Bond. You see, it's all in the feelings. I want to feel free, but you're still at home. In other words, you're still secure at home, but you're drinking a commercial freedom, artificial freedom. You see, the metaphorical freedom. So this is our society. I mean, this is the way our culture works. This is the way the engine of our economy that is so great and productive works on this fundamental bait and switch. You bait with the desire for freedom and adventure, and you sell security by combining them into one form or product. So the product, whatever you're selling, like in this case, selling a martini glass, contains the ambiguity of freedom and security. The product is a metaphor. It's like a poem. It's an art form that contains the incompatible monkeys or opposites of freedom and security. So getting back to the boobs, I'll end with that. So the products that are sold by big boobs are two, but the cleavage attracts your mind. Whoa, you want to go right to the middle between the two boobs, and what's in the middle but the one? I want the one that has two. So what is the one that has the two boobs? What is the one that has freedom and security? What is the one that will let me be home and be out of home and beyond home at the same time? Well, it's the product. So the ambiguity through the art of the commercial is embedded in a product. And now the product has both boobs. So when you buy the product, you buy the one that is two. And you get to feel adventurous while you are safe at home. Simple. Thanks for dropping in.